and get them to a slump-busting win, because Lord knows they need it.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started with the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you're there, you'll learn everything you need to know about the Renegades of Puck, and then you can click on that merchandise link and you will find all of our great items in our store. Our classic logo t-shirt, our pride logo t-shirt, our special event t-shirts, our jam and no half step in line of t-shirts, and so many other great gimmicks that you've come to know and love from the Renegades of Puck. We've got socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets, and about 55 other gimmicks in our online store right now. We've sold out so that you can buy in. We sure would appreciate your support on social media. It doesn't take you but a second. It doesn't cost you a single thing, but it sure goes a long way to helping the Renegades of Puck. You can find us on a myriad of social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can also find us streaming live on Twitch. We offer a completely different presentation there. Our video podcast can, of course, be found on YouTube, and we appreciate the 192 subscribers we now have to that channel. Our audio podcast can be found also on a myriad of platforms. Google, Stitcher, Spotify. Those are just a couple of the numerous ways you can help the Renegades of Puck, and you can support the Renegades of Puck. So please check out each and all of those different platforms. You can also become a partner of the Renegades of Puck by going to Venmo. Just search Renegades of Puck or scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. You can see the donations from generous Renegades of Puck have helped us out tremendously. A brand new microphone. We have a brand new camera that I'm sure is looking better than ever right now. We have redesigned the bunker for the third time, and we have a whole lot more coming very soon. Thanks to generous renegades like you, we are able to do such things and have such projects and plan such big events as we have coming up. One at the end of the year, one in the springtime, and one next summer. We'll be telling you a lot more about that as we go along. But you can become a sponsor, you can become a partner, and you can become someone who supports the Renegades of Puck. Built by Renegades for Renegades. We could not do this without your assistance. Now, it is time, of course, for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's operation number 670 for the Renegades of Puck. That's right, show number 670. And on this date in hockey history, the Nashville Preds currently find themselves in 5th place in the Central Division after 8 games played. They have a record of 3-4-1. They have 7 points. They are 4 points behind the first place Dallas Stars. They are 2 points behind the second place Colorado Avalanche. They are 1 point behind the third place Chicago Blackhawks, and they have the same amount of points as the Minnesota Wild. The Nashville Predators on home ice hold a record of 2-2-1, and that's where their next game will take place against the Washington Capitals. First of 2 meetings on the regular season against the Washington Capitals, which means the Nashville Predators' former head coach Peter Laviolette will be back here in Nashville. The second meeting will take place on January the 6th, when the Nashville Predators will make their only stop in Washington this season, unless, of course, somehow these two teams find themselves in a Stanley Cup final. After the Nashville Predators wrap up this game against the Washington Capitals, it will be, of course, the long Western Canadian CMA road trip. That'll start Tuesday night in Edmonton, continue on Thursday in Calgary, Saturday in Vancouver, the 8th of November in Seattle, and the 10th of November in Colorado. So a solid, lengthy road trip. It's usually the time of year when the Nashville Predators start to gel and get their stuff together, which is exactly what they have been needing to do. Now, the Nashville Predators' opponent in this next game is the Washington Capitals. They hold a record of 4-4 on the season. They have 8 points. That's good for 5th overall in the Metropolitan Division. On the road, they have a record of 1-3. And their goal differential is -1 on the season. The Nashville Predators' goal differential is -4 on the season. The Preds have scored 22. They've given up 26. Now, the Caps in their most recent stretch of action, let's go back and take a look at the last 5 for a sample size. And there are common opponents for the Nashville Predators in here. On the 17th of October, it was a 6-4 victory versus the Vancouver Canucks. On the 20th of October, a 5-2 loss at the Ottawa Senators. On the 22nd of October, a 4-3 victory versus the LA LA Kings. That is a common opponent for the Nashville Predators there. 10-24. It was a 6-3 win at New Jersey, and then it was a 2-0 loss at the Dallas Stars, another team the Nashville Predators have already played this season, so you can see how the two teams match up. Now, Monday is when the Washington Capitals will have their next game, and they will be in Carolina, so they will be continuing on with their road trip. Taking a look inside the numbers for the teams and the NHL rankings at this point in time, goals for the Nashville Predators at 2.75 is 24th in the NHL, while the Washington Capitals at 3.13 is 20th overall in the league. Goals against at 3.13, the Preds are at 21st. 3.25 for Washington is 24th. Shots for the Preds generating 30.5 shots on net per game. That is 21st best in the league. Shots for in Washington, 28.1 on net, 27th overall in the NHL. Now, when it comes to shots against, the Preds rank 13th in the league, giving up 31.5 per game, while Washington ranks 19th, giving up 32.4. When it comes to special teams, it is the Washington Capitals definitely holding advantage on the power play, converting 22.2% of the time, or 6 out of 27 times. 16th best in the NHL, while the Nashville Predators have only converted 3 times on 31 opportunities this year, currently ranked 27th in the NHL by percentage, and that percentage is a conversion of 9.7%. On the penalty kill, the Nashville Predators are significantly better, rated 9th overall in the NHL, killing off 83.3% of their kills against. 5 power play goals is what they've given up on the season. 5 power play goals also for Washington. They've killed off 77.3% of their kills, 21st overall in the NHL. Of course, when it comes to the NHL, all teams have highly skilled individuals. I will give you the leading scores in stats on both of these teams. Let's start with the visiting team, the Washington Capitals. Of course, Alex Ovechkin, the living legend himself. 3 goals on the season, 3 assists for 6 points overall. Carlson, 2 and 4 for 6 points out there on the blue line. Strome, 1 and 5 for 6 points. Sheary's at 4 goals and 1 assist. That 4 goals leads the Washington Capitals. 5 points on the season. Johansson 2 and 3 for 5 points, and in net, Darcy Kemper has a record of 3 and 3, save percentage of .903, goals against of 2.89. Stats on the Nashville Predators side of things: Philip Forsberg now is your new team leader in scoring after tonight's action. 2 goals and 5 assists for 7 total points. Matt Duchene is also at 2 and 5 for 7 points. Kind of funny how those two mirror each other in stats all last season, and while a slow start, now each at 2 and 5 for 7 points. Just a unique observation I thought I'd make there. Granlund's at 1 and 6 for 7 points. Niederreiter, 4 goals and 1 assist for 5 points. Those 4 goals lead the Nashville Predators at this time in goals. Ryan Johansson would be second with 3 goals on the season and 2 assists for 5 total points. UC Saros in net, 2, 3, and 1 is the record. .903 save percentage, so exactly the same as Darcy Kemper. 2.86 goals against average, almost identical when it comes to the records and the stats between the starting netminders of these two clubs. So going forward, the Nashville Predators and Washington Capitals very evenly matched, both looking to get things going in the right direction. And with this interconference matchup, I almost anticipate this being a 3-point game on a Saturday night at Bridgestone Arena. We've got full analysis. We've got the Renegades of Puck live at Bridgestone Arena, and we've got a lot to talk about here on this episode of Renegades of Puck. We sure do appreciate you joining us. The Rebirth Sports full game recap is coming up next. It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. Rebirth Sports, you can check out their work by going to rebirthsports.com, or you can check them out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just sent off another order to Rebirth Sports for another batch of jerseys and hoodies for the Renegades out there, and we are so excited to be getting those in soon. So thank you, stick, taps, love, and respect to each of you who purchased. We'll have another sale coming up at the beginning of the new year. Back to Rebirth Sports, though. You see me wearing the home jersey for the Renegades of Puck right here. Of course, you've seen me wearing the road jersey, and you've seen me wearing the third jersey, all the jerseys that I've worn in league play here across Middle Tennessee and in charity events, even on Lake Nokomis in the United States Pond Hockey Championships. Wherever I go, wherever I skate, I'm always wearing the threads of Rebirth Sports, and everyone wants to know where I got them. The conversation's easy, and I love talking about it. Rebirth Sports, their work is phenomenal. They take visions and make them reality, and they can make your operation look incredible. Check them out, rebirthsports.com. Let's go all the way back to October the 27th of the year 2022, when the Nashville Predators were hosting the St. Louis Blues, and John Hynes radically redeploys his line combinations in the following ways. Forsberg, Johansson, and Duchesne are your new old first line. Granlund, Glass, and Niederreiter, that is a significant change. Glass getting moved up from the fourth line to the second line. Granlund moving from center over to wing, and Niederreiter filling out that line. The Herd line back together, Trenton, Sissons, and Jeannot, and a new look fourth line, Cole Smith, Zach Sanford, and McCarron back in the lineup. Your defensive pairings also shifting around quite a bit. Yossi and Fabro, your first defensive pair. Ekholm and McDonough now broken up. Ekholm back on his normal side and pairing on the second pair with Carrier. McDonough and Luzon make up your third pair. UC Saros gets the start in net. Wanted to spend a little bit extra time on that than we normally do because that is a radical change for John Hynes. And yes, he actually stuck with it for more than a couple of shifts. Now, it would not start out great for the Nashville Predators, though, because we're 107 in the first period, and Thomas is on the board, putting St. Louis up 1-0. His first goal of the season. It was a low slot tip off of Falk's long shot. As a matter of fact, it was Thomas who started the play by winning the face-off back to Falk, and then Falk returns the favor, putting it off of Thomas' stick blade and into the net past UC Saros. The first shot on goal of the game goes into the net, giving the St. Louis Blues a 1-0 lead at Bridgestone Arena. It sounded like they had plenty of fans in the building that made the trip into Nashville. 1:58 of the first period, another tough part for the Nashville Predators in this first period. Fabro off the box, 2 minutes for hooking, but Cole Smith would have a short-handed breakaway. It would stop by Grice. That would be the Preds' first shot on goal of the game. UC Saros then on the PK would have to come up with a big save on Parayko, plus the rebound scramble. He was able to maintain and stand tall throughout this entire scenario. 8:42 of the first period, Johansson scoring chance bounces off of traffic and cannot get through. It was the Preds' best offensive shift of the period. Plenty of zone time. The St. Louis defense was absolutely gassed and dead, but the Nashville Predators were not able to put the puck into the net. 11:44 of the first period, Yossi's got a shot after a long stick handle, and that is stopped by Grice. It was a pretty looking play, but Grice was able to respond and answer. 13:19 of the first period, Falk's shot is stopped by Saros. 14:52, Schen's off to the box, 2 minutes for holding. Grice comes up with a save on Forsberg, wrist shot from the high slot, and St. Louis incredibly disciplined, taking away the shot lanes and keeping pucks away from the net. At 16:56 of the first period, though, the Nashville Predators are on the board, tying the game at 1 apiece on Jeannot's third goal of the season. It was a rebound put back after the captain, Roman Josi, put the shot on net, and it was kicked out by Grice directly to Tanner Jeannot, who put the puck into the empty net. At this point in the first period, St. Louis now only has one shot on goal since that early period power play. At 19 minutes of the first period, Grice manages to hold the puck while being harpooned, and that was the quote by Kevin Weeks on the ESPN broadcast, and it was also a very appropriate description of what was going on. A long time before there was a whistle because the puck was still loose, everyone jamming away with their sticks in this scenario, but no one able to put the puck in. And then in 19:39 of the first period, Saros comes up with a save on O'Reilly at close range, and the St. Louis Blues threaten in the final minute of the period, but Saros is able to hold strong. The Preds outshoot the St. Louis Blues 15-8 in the first period. We go to the clean sheet and into the second period, and the Preds are starting off the period with some strong pressure, but the shots are not getting through. As again, St. Louis is remaining completely disciplined out there on the ice and playing some very solid defensive road hockey. 4:28 of the second period, Captain Roman Josi off to the box, 2 minutes for cross-checking. A long delay allowing the St. Louis Blues to have the extra attacker and a lot of zone time and pressure. As a matter of fact, it ends up being more pressure than they would have during the power play, but they would still have some opportunities here because Grice would have to come up with a save on McDonough, who had a shorthanded rush. He still got wheels at that age. Saros would come up with a save on Barbashev on the back door. Incredible edge work to get across, but you know you've come to expect that from UC Saros. Schenn is able to score at the very end of the power play, his second goal of the season. It was a one-timer high blocker side. Second time he went to that on this power play, and this time able to beat UC Saros. Saros came up with a save on the initial one. St. Louis now holds a 2-1 lead in the second period. 7:05 of the second period, Dante Fabro's off to the box, 2 minutes for high, sticking UC Saros comes up with a save on Parayko. Wide open in the slot. It looked like an Old West gunfight, and UC Saros comes up the winner in the duel. UC Saros then comes up with a save on Kyrou, plus rebound opportunity after after rebound opportunity. Another scramble there around the crease. 9:46 of the second. Grice comes up with a save on Forsberg's rush to the top of the crease. The strength and control of Philip Forsberg in the hands to carry this puck through the traffic, through the D, unable to tuck it in, but still a very, very impressive rush for Philip Forsberg. You can tell he's starting to feel it out there. 11 minutes of the second period. UC Saros comes with a save on Tarasenko. 11:28. Saros a save on Kyrou. 14:51. Carrier hits the post. The Nashville Predators are unable to put the puck in the net, but at 15:47, McCarron's first goal of the season off of some rebound jam ties the goal at 2 apiece, and immediately at 16:24, Sanford, the fourth line again, his first goal of the season, wraparound jam, so another goal in close, and the Nashville Predators quickly find themselves ahead 3-2 in the second period. We hit the intermission, and this is a surprising turnaround as the Nashville Predators' new look fourth line generates 2 goals in the final minutes of the second period to give the Preds a lead. Now, the Preds are out shooting St. Louis after 40 minutes, 25-21, but St. Louis was able to generate 13 shots on goal in the second period. We go to the third period with the clean sheet. We're 39 seconds in, and UC Saros is already back to work, coming up with another big save, but at 1:11 of the third period, it's Ryan Johansson's third goal of the season, another rebound put back from the slot. The play came off of the rush. The shot came off of the rush, and Ryan Johansson, crashing the slot hard, is rewarded with the jam and puts the puck in, giving the Preds a 4-2 lead. 2:33 of the third period. Smith hits the post off a breakaway. Cole Smith's second breakaway of the game. I flipped the sheet over to the back because this is one exciting game at Bridgestone Arena, and we find Cole Smith again with the next highlight. 4:45 of the third period. Smith's got a wraparound jam opportunity. Grice is able to seal at the post and keep Smith out of the net again. 8:11 of the third period. UC Saros comes with a save on Shen at the post. Another strong seal by the netminder in this game. Nice to see them working on those basics out there. 11:53. Grice comes up with a save on Johansson. 12:44. Walker's off to the box. 2 minutes forward tripping. That's when the captain, Roman Josi, puts the puck in the net. It's shot from out high, goes off the back wall, comes back, rebounds off of Grice's pads, and then goes into the net. It actually kind of staggered onto the goal line for a second, but with the amount of people crashing and jamming and pushing, they ended up pushing the puck into the net themselves. So Roman Josi gets rewarded with the goal right here. The Nashville Predators have a 5-2 lead in the third period. 13:45. UC Saros comes with a save on Kyrou's backhand at the top of the crease. Great scoring opportunity there for St. Louis. The St. Louis goes with the empty net strategy with 6:15 remaining in the game. Sorry, with 6:15 remaining in the game. 14:25. UC Saros comes up with another big save with the mask at 15:14. Granlund's first of the season is a breakaway empty net goal on a delayed penalty call. Matt Duchene had earned the Nashville Predators a power play, but was able to push the puck forward to Mikael Granlund, who definitely looked twice while on a breakaway to an empty net for someone to pass the puck to. I thought J.P. Dumont was the only Nashville Predator in history that would look to pass on a breakaway for an empty net, but enter Mikael Granlund into that category, and I am surprised he didn't just stop and wait for someone else. Mikael Granlund puts the puck in the net, and the Nashville Predators go away with this one 6-2 on home ice. The home crowd gets to feel really good. The Nashville Predators fan base gets to exhale, and everyone associated with the Nashville Predators, the organization, whether you play, coach, or watch, you get to take a deep breath now, exhale, and move on to the next game of the season. The Nashville Predators with the 6-2 victory. They outshoot the St. Louis Blues 41-35 in this game. That was your Rebirth Sports full game recap. We've got analysis, stats, opinions, and we've got a hit coming from Bridgestone Arena from Sean C. Smith and Brian Baston coming up in just a couple of minutes. Stick with us right here on Renegades of Puck. UC Saros in this game was 33 out of 35 overall, and he was absolutely outstanding. Maybe his best game of the season to this point. His edge work, his tracking, his ability to keep the puck out of the net while scrambling. He was back to being the starting goaltender that you would expect, and UC Saros was great. He came up in a big-time division game against a really good St. Louis Blues team that usually plays very good against this Nashville Predators team, and that's a big victory for UC Saros, and hopefully a nice course correction in his numbers moving forward. Again, outstanding edge work and tracking the puck through scrambles tonight. That save on Barbashev will certainly be remembered, might even be on the end of the season highlight reel roll. Got to tell you about Strong Style Fitness, great partner of the show. You can check out Strong Style Fitness online, strongstylefit.com, or Instagram, and on Facebook and on Twitter. A certified personal trainer that has offered the Renegades of Puck over 150 workout sessions completely for free on their YouTube channel. Whether this is your first steps to your fitness journey and getting off the couch, or you've been at it like a pro for many years, Tracy over at Strong Style Fit has a workout designed for you. She has workouts for people at every level and helps people recover from injuries and helps people get their fitness journey started. She takes what she does very seriously, and she can help you, Renegades. I have seen the results. I've experienced the results for myself. Strong Style Fitness, an incredible partner to the Renegades of Puck. Stick taps, love, and respect. We are so incredibly thankful and appreciative to have partners like that in the trenches. We got to talk about the new lines from John Hynes, and you got to say it was radically different. We started hearing about it earlier today from the morning skate, and it turned out to be true. Ellie Tolvanen ends up being the scratch in this one. We still don't know if it was a healthy scratch or if there's something else going on, but he was not a part of this lineup. There was a lot of changes to talk about, so let me jump right into that. The new first line, 992 and 95, that would be Forsberg, Johansson, and Duchesne. First line has been underperforming through the first 7 games of the season. We chronicled that on the last episode quite extensively. Only 4 goals for the top line through the first 7 games. Well, 2 goals in this game, which is great news. So they had 7 points total. 1 goal, 6 assists, 7 points total for the new look first line. Glass moving up to the second line center, moving Granlund over to the wing. 11-19 in time on ice. It was a very strong game. I thought he was noticeable out there, and I think he's going to get more opportunities. John Hynes is very high on this player, of course. So there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of hype around Glass going into this season. He is supposedly destined to be a top 6 forward, and he's getting his first opportunity to be a top 6 forward. Second line center. That's an impressive place for him to be right now, and I thought that he represented himself quite well. Fourth line, got to talk about them, of course. Cole Smith, 2 breakaways in this game, another scoring opportunity on a wraparound. Sanford a goal, McCarron a goal, a total of 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points in this game. And a lot of people scoffed early in the day when they saw what the new fourth line was going to look like. They didn't really understand it. And you know, against St. Louis, you can expect Sanford, McCarron to be in there. And again, Sanford is a former St. Louis Blues, matter of fact, Stanley Cup winners, they talked about it on the broadcast. And he got an opportunity and played really well against his former team. Putting the puck in the net of the fourth line is always going to be a great benefit and help to the team. McCarron back in the lineup. He brings a lot of sandpaper, but he also brought some scoring touch and some jam on this opportunity. So the fourth line came up really big for the Nashville Predators in this game. So we had all 4 lines rolling for the Nashville Predators and all producing in the ways that they do. Now, when it comes to the defensive side of things, the McDonough-Ekholm split up. We talked about in the last episode, when was the demarcation line for the experiment to be deemed a failure or to be deemed something that you could continue on with, and we figured it was around the 10-game mark. Well, it turned out to be game 8, and the D pair was split up. As a matter of fact, I think it benefited both of them tonight. Ekholm moves back to the side that he's more familiar with. McDonough moves down to the third D pair, and I thought that both of them had better games. I saw Matthias Ekholm play better in the defensive zone than I think we've seen him play the last several games, and Ryan McDonough had some good opportunities, less ice time on the third defensive pair, but with a guy like McDonough out there on the third D pair, you can rely on that pairing a little bit more. So I think the split up was successful. I think that there was a lot of changes that ended up working. They'll have to go back, review the tape, look inside all of the numbers, and figure out exactly what they want to continue to experiment and roll with. But these changes got the Nashville Predators a 6-2 victory on home ice over a pretty good St. Louis Blues team. Now, Thomas Greiss historically is not very good against the Nashville Predators. As a matter of fact, his numbers coming into this game were quite abysmal, and after this game, they continue to be quite abysmal. But the Nashville Predators still slumping beat a decent St. Louis Blues team. Caught them on the second night of back-to-backs with their backup goaltender. Makes no difference to a team that is in an incredible slump and really, really needs a victory. And that's exactly what the Nashville Predators got tonight. And the final piece of analysis I want to talk about is the power play. 1 out of 2 in this game. They've only scored 3 power play goals in the entire season. So scoring 1 out of 2, converting on 50% of your power plays in this game, that's an opportunity to at least just move forward with it. We don't have to sit here and complain about it. We also don't have to sit here and give it a whole lot of credit. It was just nice to see the power play convert and get on the board. and hopefully they continue building on that and get more success. I definitely saw the advantage of the last couple of days off. The Predators seem fresher. They absolutely seem like they worked on both their breakout plays and some of their special teams work. I noticed without a doubt a couple of those special teams resembled exactly what you see in the drills all training camp and all preseason long. It looked like the Preds got back to basics over the last couple of days. We advocated taking a look in the mirror and looking inside and finding out exactly what happened and where your game was. Well, several Nashville Pros absolutely stepped up tonight and delivered the goods when it comes to that, and they were led by their captain, Roman Josi. And since I was negative and asked where he had been for the first 7 games, I definitely need to point out and give him some credit tonight. 1 goal, 2 assists, 7 shots on net, 22-14 in time on ice, leading the team in total time out there. So for the Nashville Pros, a much-needed victory and much-needed reason to take a deep breath now, release it, and move on. Another great partner of the Renegades of Puck, Stripe Digital Solutions. Stripe Digital Solutions comes through for this operation every single time we have a request. Even if we don't understand what we're trying to explain to Stripe Digital Solutions, they figure out how to translate what our idea is and make it a reality and a vision, and they are simply otherworldly at it. Check out Stripe Digital Solutions at stripedigitalsolutions.com or online, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you see the crest on the wall, you see the crest on the jersey, renegadesofpuck.com. Our social media plan and brand building, all of that is done with the assistance of Stripe Digital Solutions. Please check out their work for yourself. I know you're going to love what you see. You probably already love what you see here because the work that we get in return is just the best. I love being in partnership with Stripe Digital Solutions. You know who else I love being in partnership with? And this is going to be a dual segment right here. And I love this. I love these guys. It's going to be A to Z Sports, Sean C. Smith, and on the forechecks, Brian Baston. Normally, they have radically different entrances when it comes to this, but they are live at Bridgestone Arena tonight. They are together. They covered the game together tonight. They went to the media session. They talked to John Hines. They talked to the players, and now they are going to talk to you. Of course, you can find Sean on Twitter at SCSNSH, and you can find Brian on Twitter at Brian Baston. Again, A to Z Sports on the forecheck, respectively, and they're going to tell you everything that happened tonight at Bridgestone Arena.
Thanks, Charlie. Brian and I are live from Bridgestone Arena where the Predators just handily defeated the St. Louis Blues. Now, the big question coming into the night was, were the line changes John Hines made ahead of the game going to net any positive results? And at the same time, he made some changes to the defense too. And as you can tell with a score of 6-2, it certainly seems like things worked out. Now, the other question was, were the top guys going to be the top guys? And it seems like tonight they may have been, but I'm going to pass it over to Brian, who's got some stats on that.
Thanks a lot, Sean. Brian here with your one big stat. And actually, I've got 2 for you tonight. As we said before the game, we saw that John Hines had made those changes on the lines and defensive pairs. And so let's talk about those changes and how they did. Well, with the top line, I told you before the game that line had some success last season, and Coach Hines had even said that factored into his decision-making. But I'd say a stat line of Philip Forsberg and Matt Duchene with 3 assists and a goal from Ryan Johansson would qualify as a pretty good time. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree.
And then looking at the defensive pairs, a lot of people want to look at Mark Brzezicki being gone and where Ryan McDonough, but let's talk about Mattias Ekholm. Mattias Ekholm was back on his side, and he had a defensive shutdown game. The shot attempts when he was on the ice at 5-on-5 were 22-4. Absolutely dominated the puck when he was there. And again, if you remember Mattias Ekholm from the PK Subban days, the man who would never take the puck across the line, he was carrying it out there and driving into the zone himself several times. So we've seen quite a growth from him and his game, and maybe being back on his natural side isn't too bad a thing. And that's going to be our one big stat and Sean's analysis for the evening. And, well, back to you, Charlie.
I cannot thank those guys enough. Sean C. Smith from A to Z Sports and Brian Baston from ontheforecheck.com. They covered the game tonight for the Renegades of Puck and for their sites and their shows, respectively. I love the partnership that we have in the hockey community, how we can cross-pollinate on each other's shows, podcasts, and bring analysis and astute observations to each other without it being in conflict. We are here to raise the level of discourse. We are here to raise the hockey conversation, and it's something that we strive on doing. It's called no half-stepping here in the bunker. Got to tell you about our trip to Las Vegas. You want to go on the road trip of a lifetime with the Renegades of Puck? Well, we're going to Las Vegas on New Year's Eve to watch the Nashville Predators take on the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Now listen, it's a limited opportunity, okay? There are only so many spots, and they are starting to fill up because people are realizing very quickly what a great Christmas gift this is going to be. We're going to Vegas as a group, and we're doing that through our great partners, Ships and Trips Travel. So go to Renegades of Puck /Vegas, and you can learn more. And you can go to shipsandtripstravel.com and learn more information and register right there. We are so excited. This is our first trip that we are planning with Ships and Trips Travel, and we want to fill this thing out. We're going to be doing bigger and bigger things with this group over the next couple of years, and we want to show them that their partnership is worth it when it comes to working with the Renegades of Puck. So Renegades of Puck, join us on the front lines in Las Vegas as we wrap up 2022 and we bring in 2023, the ROP NYE Vegas. Let's do this. Now, before we get out of here, just a couple of closing thoughts, and it's as simple as this. When I talked to you last, I closed the show, and I told the Nashville Predators to go home, look in the mirror, and get their shit together. Well, the Nashville Predators appear to have gone home, looked in the mirror, and gotten their shit together because that was a much better performance tonight. Now, John Hines took the reins, and he went ahead and made some changes, and that probably got the Nashville Predators good in focus. This week, the practice reports from the Renegades of Puck and from all the correspondents covering the skating sessions said it was much more intense. It was more game-like than it was morning skate-like. And that's great news for the Nashville Predators, clearly knowing that on the losing streak and slumping, they needed to pick their game up. And that's exactly what they did. And that is great to see. The Nashville Predators have been a playoff team the last couple of seasons, and they have every possibility and capability of turning around the early season slump. We are still in the first 10 games of the season. I've made the point a couple of times. It is still October, and while we have been rather frustrated and very excited about some things that have and have not been going on and expectations that have not been lived up to, it is still October. This was just Game 8, and the Nashville Predators just beat the St. Louis Blues 6-2 at Bridgestone Arena. So for the Nashville Predators, they take a deep breath now, and that is good for each and every one of us. They'll close out October and then begin November with that CMA road trip, just like they always do. And for the Nashville Predators, it is going to be a very, very busy and difficult start to the month of November, so it's imperative that they close out this homestand against the Washington Capitals by securing those 2 points. A 3-point game makes no difference against an Eastern Conference opponent, so if it takes an additional couple of minutes, that's fine. Just make sure you secure both of those points. With the numbers between the starting goaltenders being as even as they are, I anticipate this is going to be a very close played game. Peter Laviolette, of course, will have his team fired up and ready, and John Hines, of course, wants to prove to the old guy that the new guy is the boss now, and it's not exactly the same. For Sean C. Smith and Brian Bassett and each and every one of the Renegades, can't wait to see who's going to be on the next episode. We will be back in the bunker Saturday night, summing up the Nashville Predators and the Washington Capitals. New episodes released 7 a.m. You can always find us YouTube and on a myriad of podcast platforms. And please check out all of those social media platforms. It really goes a long way to helping the Renegades of Puck. Stick taps, love, and respect.